Hello, fourth and fifth grade scholars. I wanted to talk to you about how to be a successful online learner. I know this is different. I know you're wondering, how are we going to have a classroom through YouTube? But I want to tell you, you're not alone. Millions of American students are having virtual classroom all across America due to this crisis. And before that, millions of American students were reporting to virtual classrooms because they chose to be homeschooled. As I told you before, I mentioned to you, Adam, my son, was homeschooled from third grade to sixth grade, where he had to report to a virtual classroom every single day. There he would meet with six of his not virtual teachers, they were real teachers who would teach a live classroom. He would hear from all across in the classroom, he could hear students asking questions all across Georgia. And was required to do his work. That was from third grade to sixth grade. So this can be done, and it can be done successfully. So let me give you tips on how to be a successful online student in a virtual classroom. First thing is time management. What's time management? Making use of your time wisely. When you're home, it is so easily to get distracted. Why? Because we have our phones, we have the refrigerator, we have video games, we just have more freedom. So, how do you keep on track when you're at home? So, you have to set a schedule. So, with online learning, there's a lot of flexibility, which is good. That's the positive of it. So, there's 3 blocks of learning time when you're an online learner. You have your early morning block. Those are for the people who want to keep traditional school hours. They want to wake up at 6 or 7 in the morning and start their school day at 8 and start their early morning block at 8. Then those there's those students who chose the mid-morning block. Well, where they start their school day around 10 or 11. And then there are some students that choose an afternoon block where they start their school day around 1 o'clock. There is no right or wrong learning block when you're an online learner from home. It's your choice, but you still have deadlines that you have to keep. So whether you choose an early morning block, a mid morning block, or afternoon block, keep in mind that you still have got to get your assignments in. So when you wake up, whether you choose mid morning, early morning, mid morning, or an afternoon block, you have to make sure you get up, do your hygiene routine. That's brushing your teeth, getting your hair fixed, putting your clothes on, and then getting something to eat. You want to make sure you start the day with a good meal. So if you're early morning, a good breakfast, mid morning, a good brunch, afternoon learner, a good lunch. So you want to make sure that your your hygiene routine is done, your meal is done, and then you get into your learning. Now, fun fact about online learners, their average day is 2 to 3 hours. Yes, when you're in the classroom, it's 6 to 8 hours. When you're an online learner, your average learning time for the whole day is 2 to 3 hours. So that's a good thing. So when you're done with your learning, which should take 2 to 3 hours, you have your whole day for extracurricular activity. But it's important, again, not to get behind. So you have to use good time management. And then you have to find a conducive place in your house for learning. Miss K, what does conducive mean? Remember our exercise on context clues when we don't know a word that we don't understand a word that we've never heard? So let's look at the clues. Conducive place for learning. So we want to look for a conducive place for learning, a place where we could learn easily, where there's no distractions. Again, when you're an online learner, that is up to you. For some, it could be at the kitchen table. For some, it could be lying on their belly near the fireplace. For others, it could be on the couch in a quiet area with their laptop. For some, it's a desk in their room. For others, it's outside at a table on the porch. For some, it's sitting by a tree. It does not matter, just so long as you're away from distractions and could tune in to your learning time. Again, you have 2 to 3 hours of learning. It should not take more than that. And if it does, it's okay. Don't beat yourself up. Just remember that you have to get your learning in because this is not a vacation. Just because we're in a virtual classroom, it's still school. I'll give you an example. When Adam, my son, was an online learner from third grade to sixth grade, he was awful at it. Yes, I was his educator facilitator. I would keep him on task, but Adam would have so many distractions. The battle of mom, I want to do this, I want to do that. Guess what? 3 hours that it would take him to finish his assignments extended to 8 hours, sometimes longer, because he would not stay on task. Then he would look outside the window and see the children playing outside. They got home from school, did their homework, and were able to go outside, and he was still doing his work. That's because he did not use good time management. And he knew if he did not finish his work, he could not go outside and play. So Adam began to realize, okay, I'm really not good at this. I'm not doing a good job at managing my time. I'm going to have to really dig in and do my work. He found out if he concentrated and did his work, he was done in 3 hours. Then he had the rest of the day to do extracurriculum activity, which was, as you all know, soccer. So you guys will learn that if you do not use good time management, you'll get behind and you won't meet your deadlines. By the way, our deadline for our schoolwork is 8 o'clock every evening. I know you're saying, Miss K, why don't you give us the next day to turn in our work like we do in our classroom at Seeds? The reason why I'm using a same day deadline is because I want to make sure that you're spending the day doing your work. So your deadline, once you get your video, and you will have an instructional video from me every day, you are to do your work, and your deadline to get your work in is 8 p.m. 8 p.m. every day. Now, with our next instructional video, I'm going to give you details on how I want you to turn in your assignments. But I want you to know that your deadline for turning in work is 8 p.m. every day. So let's go over. Let's summarize. Getting your hygiene routine, getting dressed, choosing your learning block of choice. You could be early morning, mid morning, or afternoon. Early morning starts at 8, mid morning starts between 10 and 11, afternoon starts at 1. Before you start your work, you are to have a good meal. Let me stop. Before you start your work, please pray, have worship, have a good meal, then start your work. Like I said, it should take 2 to 3 hours to complete everything. If it takes more than that, that's okay. Your deadline for each day is 8 o'clock. Again, your deadline for each day for work is 8 o'clock in the evening. It is so important that you comment on the YouTube videos. That is my way for taking attendance. That's my way for us to interact. When you comment on those videos, you get to interact with your classmates. You get to interact with me. That is our place to communicate under the videos in the comment sections. That's where we will communicate. That's where you will talk to your classmates. That's where you will talk to me. That's where you will say, "Hello, Miss K, I'm present." And I could take attendance and I know that you did your work. Also, at the end of the day, before you turn in your work, just send me a note on comments. Miss K, I finished my work. If you have any questions for me, you could email me or leave a comment on the YouTube channel section. So those are my tips for you to become a successful online learner in a virtual classroom. Also, I want to tell you, not only, as you know, I'm not only an in-class teacher, I'm also an online teacher as well. You know, I have 33 students from Latin America that I teach. And the same tips I'm giving to you, I've given to them. And these tips really work. And it helps you keep on task when you are in a virtual classroom and when you are an online student. Thank you, and we will see each other soon.